4 years. Yeah, that was how long it took me to keep trading the crypto and the forex market in loss. At some point, I began to ask myself, am I that dull? Or maybe this isn't just for me. Possibly there are people who just have the mind for it, just like math, right? I could try do one or two things on math, but every other subject I don't have a struggle. But this one I have to probably give it extra time. I thought that was the case, but after losing for 4 years back to back, like making profits at interval, and your profits tend to feel like fluke, like you're gambling, like you're taking a bet on sport or something, but this time with very little information about how the sport works, right? And so losing for 4 years, I almost began to doubt myself. But somehow, I felt like I had no choice. This is something I had to do. This is something that I want to do, right? That kind of thing. And so, not up until when I came across certain informations, and then it was like someone flipped a light bulb open, and I just knew what to do. I just knew the answers. And every time that I engage this result, engage these newly found answers, I got very predictable results. Successful ones, not the predictable ones in loss, right? Yeah, I got successful, predictable results. And so the purpose of making this video, well, it's not just to tell you my story, but to answer the question, if I was to go back and give this newfound answers, this newly found result to my younger self 6 years ago, because after 4 years, it took me 2 years. Well, I've been in profits for the past 2 years and also teaching cryptocurrencies, right? And how to run the forex markets. But then, if I was to go back about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, to tell my younger self what exactly I need to do to change my trading game, what exactly I need to do to become a profitable trader. Now, don't get me wrong, in the past 4 years, or the first 4 years out of 6 years, I spent time consuming content, watching stuff online. I never really had a one on one tutor or paid for a one on one class. Couldn't really afford it, to be sincere. But then I spent time consuming all the information, all the content I could find, right? So if I'm going to go back and give a hand down manual in 3 steps, basically, well, 3 simple things that can literally change my trading game as a newbie. And if you're watching this as a newbie or someone who has been in the position of trading for a long time and still be at loss, well, this video is for you. So yeah, I'm going to be giving you 3 steps or 3 things you need to learn or improve or watch out for you to be able to improve your trading game and get into profit, guaranteed. And now these 3 things I'm going to be mentioning are going to be in 3 dimensions, possibly, right? So the first 2 are very important, but they are only going to work on the basis that you master the 3rd level. In other words, the first 1 and 2 are single things you could learn differently and very important. But when you master the 3rd one, it makes this first 2 very easier to use, I suppose, or very easier to perfect. Yeah, I think that's the word. So with that said, let's dive straight into it. The first thing anybody should learn is something known as support and resistance. Support and resistance. Why this is so important? Because just like it sounds, it's basically like the bedrock of, or like one of the bedrocks of trading. Think of the world without the sky and think of the world without the earth, that kind of thing. So every other thing has a foundation that is built on the earth, and every other thing, tallest building, tallest mountain, tallest whatever, is calculated or possibly looked with relation or relativity to the extent at which it's able to touch the sky. Some people say the sky is the limit. Some people say more than the sky is the limit or whatever. But yeah, we have a support and resistance in the world, which is the earth and the sky, right? Now, there are things that possibly come down or probably won't build so high. They have other, like, balconies and stuff, right? But they don't touch the earth. While there are some things that literally have their roots in the earth, right? This is basically the concept of support and resistance. And because some things have balcony and there's some things that are really rooted in the earth, while some things are attached to other things, this is where we now have strong support resistance, and weak support resistance. Think of them as major and minor. So things that have their roots from the foundation of the earth will be considered strong, major supports, right? Then things that have like balconies, and from that balconies, other things are built on them, then we consider them the weak supports or resistance. Yeah, they are, but they're just weak. They're not strong enough to carry another building or at least another skyscraper, that kind of thing. So this is basically the concept of support and resistance, and should be the first thing you understand. Now, I'm not going to go into a full blow course teaching you support and resistance, but yeah, it's something that will take you less than a couple minutes to understand. I'm going to show you guys all the three things I've been mentioning in every of my analysis. You're going to see me take these three things and practicalize them, like literally show you how I make end decisions using these three steps I'm about to show you in this video. Now, number one being support and resistance, right? Now let's go on to number two. What do you think the second thing would be after support and resistance? Well, this one is a bit dicey and fun actually, because when I was learning it, it required one of the most common tools every trader should have or should have access to. Now, if you don't have access to it, I'm going to be leaving it down below in the description. This is something known as the Trading Bible. And just like the main Bible that we know, it should be something you visit every day, something you chew on, you study every day, right? But see, what I'm trying to bring out from the Trading Bible is not necessarily the whole thing you get from it. What I'm trying to bring out here is something known as candle patterns and candle formation. Yeah, candle patterns and candle formation. Candle patterns are basically how candles are, wow, it's so weird to say how candles are formed, but basically what you know as how candles are built. Now, candles formation is basically how candles form. Now, not how candles form in the sense. Think of it like a football team that's about to play a match, right? The football team, soccer, if you're watching, depending on what country you're watching, but I think it's called football. But the football team typically has one thing known as formation. Now, if you're someone who plays the PS5 or Xbox, whatever, you're familiar with formations like 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, or we have the 2-4-2-1. I'm not sure if I was correct with that, but let me know if that's up to 11 though. But yeah, so we have formations like this. But this is not how candles form. Now, when candles form, we have things called double tops, symmetry triangle, double bottoms, cup and handles, and so on and so forth. Now, double tops is where you see a candle pattern coming up, and then you see something like this, and then it goes down. So basically, when the candle comes up, it forms two tippy top and then it goes down. You can see this right now on the daily and the weekly time frame of the Bitcoin market. Yeah, so this is basically the next thing you need to pay attention to. And you can find ways to learn this in details from something called the Trading Bible. It's usually a PDF, or I don't know if some people have physical book, but yeah, there's a PDF of it, and I'm going to be leaving it down below in the description. Well, if you can't find it in the description, then you can join my Telegram or WhatsApp group. I'm also going to be dropping it up down there. Let me know your thoughts and what you need in the comment section. Now, the holy grail of things that I would teach myself or tell my younger self about the importance of trading or how to learn trading is vested on this third point I'm about to give you. Now, this third point, like I said, it's so important that the first two, the activation and the usage of the first two is rested on those third points for you to be assured success. Now, I already gave you a hint when I talked about number two earlier. I don't know if anybody was able to grab it, but this is what I call the top-down analysis. Top-down analysis. Now, remember when we were talking about support and resistance, and we said the earth, which is the ground, is like the support level, and the resistance could probably be the sky or wherever the market decides to stop before touching the sky, you know, so support and resistance kind of thing. Top-down analysis is you taking support and resistance and zooming out. What I mean is, when from anywhere in the world that you are on right now, as long as you're not in a plane or in a flight, once you're on the ground, everything looks flat. This is why we have conversations or arguments around flat earth society and people who think the world is in a globe, right? Now, if you're someone who thinks the earth is flat, it's most likely because you've never been in the plane or you've never watched any movie around going to space. Now, if you have watched it and you decide to doubt that, that's your problem. But then people typically think the earth is flat and everything, or the earth is as big as what they can see because of where they are. But once you go on a 10-story building or a 20-story building, you can see more than where you are right now. You can see more of your city, more of your town. Once you get on a flight that is taking off, you begin to see literally the whole city and barely can point out any single house, except things that are very, very big, skyscrapers and all that. And the more you go on in altitude, the more you begin to see things like a bigger picture. So you begin to see landscapes, not necessarily buildings, not necessarily streets, but basically landscapes of bigger lands and streams. Now, the details become less and the picture becomes clearer. And so when you eventually go out into space, you just see a big globe that is glowing, which is the Earth, right? And this is the same thing with top-down analysis. And how can you zoom in and zoom out from whatever level you are to wherever you want to be is basically something we call the time frame. So we can see by default, probably in your TradingView or any trading app that you have things like called the 1 hour time frame. You have things called the 4-hour time frame. Let me take this off. You have things called the daily time frame. You have things called the weekly time frame, and you have things called the monthly time frame. Now, if you go, each of these things determine how closer you zoom in and how further you zoom out, right? So if you're on the 1 hour time frame, you're looking at the market where every candle represents an hour. It takes an hour for that candle to form, right? Or for that candle's pattern to form. Now, the formation can take a total of 8 hours, right? With 8 of these candles, which means 8 1-hour candles. But yeah, that's for the candle pattern, candle formation thing. But zooming out, you begin to see 1 hour time frames, 4 hour time frames, and all this. Now, if you go to the daily time frames where the market takes a day for a candle to form, you begin to see the market clearer. Now, why this is important is because in the 1 hour time frame, you can see a support level or a resistance level like across the whole candle pattern. Okay, wait, let's rephrase so you guys don't get confused. You see a support resistance level, and whatever support or resistance level you are looking at, it doesn't take long for the candle to break out of it. Like support levels and resistance level are easily broken out of, right? When you go to the 4 hour time frame, the support levels that are broken out of, let's say in the 1 hour time frame, you see this, right? You can't really, this is probably a support and resistance, but then the candle goes up and breaks out of it. But in the 4 hour time frame, you can see that everything is basically in still the same earth and cloud system. And so that way you can say the market is clearer the higher you go. So on a daily time frame, the support and resistance are much more precise because the longer it takes a candle to form, the more stronger the candle is. So which means, in other words, a 1 hour candle is not as strong as a 4 hours candle, right? Now, you might not necessarily know the thickness when you go into it, obviously, but candles you see on a daily time frame, if this is a bearish candle, maybe this is stronger than a bullish candle in a 4 hour time frame. All this will be explained to you later in a different video. But basically, what I'm trying to make you guys understand here is you need to understand, number one, support and resistance. Number two, candle patterns and formations. And then number three is called top-down analysis, which I would like to put here as time frame. Now, how do you use this top-down analysis in conjunction with the first two to be able to make successful trading decisions? What you want to do is you want to zoom out. This is why it's called the top-down analysis. You start from up, which is basically the higher one. Some people want to start on the monthly for a chart that has a lot of details, but I personally like to go to the weekly time frame to see what's up. Well, you can go to the monthly and know what's up, but I like to go to weekly time frame, Zoom out to the weekly time frame, see the support resistance level, the candle patterns, candle formations that are forming in that place. Then go down to the daily time frame to get confirmations, and most likely, mark at minimum, go down to the 4 hours or 1 hour to look for an entry into the market. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section, and I'll do a more detailed video to either expand on this stuff that I've taught you guys so far, or maybe look for, or probably, just answer your question with a different video. So let me know how much you understand this, or if I have to redo this video, right? With that said, bye for now, and I'll catch you up on the next one. Peace.